Okay, let's have a go at Lewe, chapter 2, for Consciousness Exists. This is going to take us into some details of Lewe now. So I finished off yesterday with this diagram showing that a water molecule, which sustains these forces, if it continues to exist, can take this balance of force shape. I talked about light appearing here. I teased you. And then, so what I'm suggesting is that this rate of expansion is slightly more in that direction than in that direction. So the light escapes, that is created here. When water hits the velocity of c, light is created. This light escapes, this light doesn't. And it creates, I'm suggesting, a hemisphere. So what I've got here is we've got all these compressive forces and big steel plates and stuff. Now, can this occur? This can occur without any of these forces, external forces. All of these forces are, in fact, internal forces. So you remember, this is Lewe. This is his conclusion with the load cases. This is condition E, I believe. Now, what we've got is, we've got a balanced, imbalanced, balance, 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 balance. I'm just saying that here we've got 3 troughs, 3 crests. Here I've got 4 troughs, 2 crests. Here I've got 3 and 3. 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 So that the wave is balanced throughout, apart from in this location where there's an imbalance, but it's balanced there. There's a load here at that point, and I've shown it there. So this is condition, I've shown this as condition, it can be E or B. You can see it's simply there, moving to there. Here's this wave, a point. This point is acting now here. It will create this trough in this final position D that Lewe doesn't show. I made an error. I put it as a trough to balance the imbalance, if you like. No, the balance is created by this positive moment, a negative vector for the whole system. So this is Lewe's figure 5. I'm showing this is the imbalance state. We've got an imbalance created by this moment, and we've got a balance resulting from this imbalance, which creates the same pattern, but in that location. Okay, so the center of the bubble was moved from there. There's the drop. There's the droplet. When it's in this position, the droplet will be here. Okay, so I've tried to show that here. Not very brilliantly drawn. So the droplet that we see here in positions 2 and 3 is in fact a complete sphere. The reason that the thing doesn't fail and doesn't break, the droplet doesn't spill, is because at the point that the droplet is created ready to fall, it has got a mass, because it's moved relative to where it should be. It's occupying spaces it shouldn't exist. It has energy from the tension and bending that's set up in this in its membrane, in its surface membrane, water tension, remember. So it creates a spinning sphere. That sphere has a mass. It creates a magnetic field. It creates an electric field. Rah-de-rah-de-rah. There's all the fields being created. Its mass is expressed here as a distance load. So its mass, its kilogram, is expressed as a meter per second squared here. It has its gravity is there. So that the weight of it, not its mass, is what creates this effect. Effectively, you're hanging on there, Yeah, I'm hanging a weight at that position 5 that drags this membrane into this shape, and it creates all these effects. So what I've done, I've tried to illustrate this now, because the hardest thing I find with physics is that they'll give you a lot of information. It's hard to illustrate it. So what I try to do is illustrate this forces arrangement, which I'm just trying to express how the forces are arranged, as what it might actually look like inside an atom. You have across the equator, you have the area where the tension is expressed. The surface tension is expressed. It has taken this shape. There's our sphere. Let's show you that. Here's our sphere. It's hanging below the center line. The top of the droplet hangs below the center line. It's all created below the line. It's spinning, it's doing its field thing. Here's its wave that it's sitting in. There's its wave that it's sitting in. Here's the shape of the wave on the side. Now here is there. You've got a wave front occurring. Because this, remember, this is the motion that's pushing this whole system, turning it this way. It wants to turn in that direction. So it's pushing it down this way. This is turning clockwise. This is turning anti-clockwise. This wave front is being created here. There is dissipation of the wave at this point, and there is a wave front building here, pushing this whole system imbalanced in this direction. Okay. What I'm suggesting is that the 137 arc second, the fine structure constant, appears here. You've got an orbital axis, you've got a spin axis. You've got all these forces going on. The resultant of that forces is that the difference between the two axes is not 90 degrees. It's 90 degrees plus 137, giving it that click. It doesn't do that as a consistent motion. It's clicking into it. Every time this does a two rotations, that clicks your 137. Here's our hemisphere of light. This is our c squared, the squared space of light that's centered on its north-south axis. And here's the center of the atom. And of course, this also recreates the universe, solar system as we observe it. Of course it does. And then this is a plan view of the condition F in balance. So what I've just tried to show you is that here's the droplet and the function. So here's these 2 points, clockwise the positive moment, and that's the whole disk is turning to that position. When it turns to that position, it's now on position A and F. So it's now here, balanced again. But notice how the imbalance at this point, the positive moment there creates this action here, and this is balanced because that is balanced by the positive moment, but it's not consistent. That positive moment is variable, so that this will be balanced, but it will be greater or lesser. So that when you see the whole thing in rotation, you can see it's moving simply from really the two conditions. It's balanced, it's balanced, it's imbalanced, it's balanced again. And this is rotating anti-clockwise. Everything is rotating anti-clockwise apart from that, which is creating clockwise. You've got a wave front building here. When it's in a balanced location, you've got a wave front, a crest. Here, you've got a trough because of the formation of the tension that's inside the membrane. Okay, now as a final thing, it's might be worth looking at that I drew previously, why this is important. I'm suggesting that what's wrong at the moment is that the oxygen bubble distortion, the energy of oxygen, which is the energy matrix that holds everything together, is this oxygen bubble shape. is distorted at the moment. That it should be 2 pi diameter with a measured speed of light of pi times 10 to the 8. So that your h measured should be 2 pi. It should be your h bar, as you call it in physics. Currently, h is 6.626, and therefore our measured speed is less because it's going further. It's got further to travel. This distance is that distance. How far does the light travel before it breaks free from the atom, creating the light, creating the tension inside? It'll take longer if the bubble is distorted. And why will the bubble be distorted? Because that's going too slowly. The momentum of the center of the atom, of the mass that exists of the atom, is rotating too slowly. The positive moment will not be as great, and the shape will start to distort. This will be increased. It'll be 137 and a bit, and the whole shape will go out. And that's the air we breathe. Okay, so this is Lewe. This is an illustration of Lewe. This is the world that Lewe has created for us in 1915.